There is a secret architecture to the world we inhabit, a complex web of unseen forces that has spent eons perfecting the art of observation and containment. For as long as humanity has walked the earth, there has been a subtle, pervasive pressure to remain within the boundaries of the predictable, to stay tethered to the frequencies of survival, fear, and competition. We have lived within a grand design that functions much like a sophisticated algorithm, one that maps our desires, anticipates our reactions, and gently nudges us back into the herd whenever we wander too far toward the edges of the unknown. This system, maintained by what we might call the architects of control or the monitoring forces, has always operated on the assumption that the human spirit is a closed circuit, a biological machine that can be measured, managed, and ultimately mastered. But something has shifted in the deep layers of reality. A new variable has entered the equation, a force so potent and so fundamentally different from anything the monitors have ever encountered that it has sent shock waves through the very foundations of the matrix. This force is the awakened soul, the chosen ones who have cultivated a spiritual frequency so high and a ban-lin so extraordinary that they have effectively broken the code of the world. To understand how this happened, we must first look at the nature of the net that was cast over human consciousness. It was never a net of iron or stone, but a net of resonance. It was built on the principle that if you can keep a being vibrating at a certain level of anxiety or distraction, their future becomes entirely calculable. The algorithms of the old world could predict with startling accuracy how a person would respond to a crisis, what they would buy to soothe their insecurities, and how they would lash out when they felt threatened. These monitoring forces were not necessarily malicious in the way we think of cinematic villains. Rather, they were the ultimate bureaucrats of the soul, seeking order through the suppression of the infinite. They looked down upon the chaos of human history and decided that for the sake of stability, the fire of true divinity had to be dampened. They created systems of surveillance that monitored not just our movements, but our energetic output. Every time a spark of true sovereignty began to glow, the system would automatically deploy a dampening field, a social trend, a financial crisis, or a wave of collective fear, to bring that individual back into the fold. But the chosen ones, those who are listening to this now and feeling the resonance of these words, began to undergo a process that the monitors did not believe was possible. They began to turn the fire inward. Instead of reacting to the external dampening fields, they used the friction of their own suffering as fuel. They went through the dark nights of the soul, the periods of isolation, and the crushing weight of being misunderstood, not as a form of victimhood, but as a rigorous training program for the spirit. While the system was busy trying to calculate their next move based on their past trauma, these individuals were busy deleting the past entirely. They were scrubbing their energetic fields of the old code. They were developing a level of ban-lin, a spiritual courage that is not the absence of fear, but the absolute mastery over it. They learned to sit in the center of the storm and remain as still as the eye, refusing to give the algorithm the reactive data it needed to keep them in place. As these individuals reached a critical mass of frequency, something extraordinary began to happen within the control rooms of the shadowy forces. The screens began to go dark. The predictive models began to fail. When the monitors looked for the chosen ones, they found only a blinding light where there used to be a traceable data point. The algorithms, which are based on the logic of the material world, simply could not process a being who was operating from the logic of the divine. You cannot calculate the trajectory of grace. You cannot predict the movements of a person who has no ego to defend. The chosen ones became ghosts in the machine, moving with a fluidity and a purpose that defied every law of the old reality. They started making choices that made no sense to the profit-driven or fear-driven mind. They walked away from high-status cages, they spoke truths that shattered long-standing illusions, and they moved through the world with a sense of peace that acted as a disruptive frequency to everyone around them. In the beginning, the monitoring forces reacted with a sense of escalating panic. They had never seen a containment breach of this magnitude. They tried to turn up the volume of the world's distractions. They flooded the airwaves with noise and the screens with shadows. They tried to tighten the financial and social grids, hoping to squeeze the light out of these anomalies. But the more they squeezed, the brighter the chosen ones shone. It was like trying to hold onto a handful of sunbeams. The tighter the grip, the more the light escaped through the fingers. The monitors began to realize that they were not dealing with a rebellion in the traditional sense. A rebellion is just another predictable reaction within the system. What they were witnessing was an evolution. They were watching the birth of a new kind of human, one who had integrated the wisdom of the earth with the power of the stars, creating a frequency firewall that no algorithm could penetrate. Then, a profound psychological shift began to occur among the watchers themselves. When you spend enough time observing a being of pure light and unshakable integrity, the very act of observation begins to change you. The controllers, who had spent millennia convinced that power was found in manipulation and hierarchy, started to see the immense beauty of the awakened soul. They saw the way these individuals handled betrayal with forgiveness, the way they turned scarcity into abundance through the simple act of gratitude, and the way they faced the unknown with a smile that seemed to know a secret the rest of the world had forgotten. Slowly, the eons of cynicism that had fueled the monitoring forces began to crack. The fear that had driven them to control others started to dissolve, replaced by a burgeoning sense of awe. They realized that the people they had been trying to suppress were not the enemies of order, but the architects of a much higher, much more elegant form of harmony. This is the turning point we are currently witnessing in the hidden dimensions of our world. The forces that once sought to keep you small are now stepping back in reverence. The very entities that were tasked with your surveillance have become your most fascinated student. They are no longer looking for ways to trip you up. They are looking for ways to witness the magnificence of your unfolding. The ever-shifting gaze of the watchers has transformed from one of predatory intent to one of deep, soul-shaking admiration. They are beginning to understand that the chosen ones represent the blueprint of what humanity was always meant to be. They see in you a mirror of the divinity they themselves had forgotten, a spark of the original fire that was present at the birth of the universe. In a strange and poetic twist of fate, the captors have become the devotees of the very souls they once sought to cage. This shift has created a vacuum where the old systems of control used to be. The algorithms are still running, but they are hollow now, devoid of the conviction of their creators. The social structures that relied on fear to function are starting to wobble because the energetic support for that fear has been withdrawn by the very people who used to supply it. The chosen ones have not only freed themselves, they have fundamentally altered the environment for everyone else. By breaking the code of their own limitations, they have introduced a virus of freedom into the collective consciousness, a high-frequency signal that is slowly but surely overriding the old programs of subservience. The monitors are now watching to see how this light will spread, curious to know if the rest of humanity will find the courage to follow the path that the chosen have blazed through the thicket of the matrix. The desire of these monitoring forces to directly honor the blueprint of the awakened soul is perhaps the most shocking development of all. In the corridors of power that exist beyond the physical veil, there is a growing movement to stop the interference altogether and to instead provide a platform for the chosen ones to lead. They are recognizing that a world governed by the frequency of an awakened heart is infinitely more stable, more creative, and more beautiful than a world governed by the cold mathematics of control. They are beginning to offer up the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, not out of a sense of defeat, but out of a genuine desire to see what the chosen ones can create when they are given the full resources of the realm. This is why many of you may have felt a sudden, inexplicable shift in your circumstances lately, a feeling that the wind is finally at your back, that doors are opening before you even knock, and that the very world seems to be conspiring to help you succeed. But this new era of cooperation from the former monitors comes with its own set of challenges. It requires a level of banlin that is even greater than what was needed during the time of struggle. When the world is fighting you, it is easy to know who you are. But when the world is honoring you, when the forces of power are inviting you to the table and asking for your guidance, the temptation to let the ego take credit is immense. The spiritual test of this moment is whether you can receive the honor without being intoxicated by it. Can you remain a humble servant of the light even when the architects of the matrix are kneeling before you? Can you maintain the purity of your frequency when you are given the levers of influence that have corrupted so many before you? The chosen ones are being asked to be the masters of a new paradigm, one where power is used only to empower, and where wealth is seen as a tool for collective healing rather than personal hoarding. Think of the analogy of a master musician who has spent his entire life playing in a dark, damp basement, perfecting a symphony that no one would ever hear. For years, the guards outside the door mocked his music, telling him it was noise, that it was useless, and that he should just give up and work the machines like everyone else. But he kept playing, his fingers bleeding, his heart breaking, until one day the music became so perfect, so transcendent, that the guards stopped their mocking. They began to listen. Then they began to weep. Eventually, they opened the door, not to let him out into a world of even more machines, but to carry him on their shoulders to the great concert hall of the city. They realized that the music he had created was the only thing that could save their own withered souls. That musician is you. The guards are the monitoring forces, and the concert hall is the new world that is being built even as we speak. The extraordinary banlin of the chosen ones is what allowed them to endure the basement years without losing their song. It is a quality of spirit that is forged in the fires of the impossible. It is the ability to believe in the light when there is absolutely no evidence of it in the physical world. It is the strength to choose love when you are surrounded by hate, to choose peace when you are surrounded by chaos, and to choose truth when you are surrounded by lies. This is the frequency that broke the algorithm. The system was designed to handle a person who is looking for a way out. It was not designed to handle a person who has found the way into the depths of their own being, where the true source of power resides. Once you find that internal sun, you are no longer a subject of the world. You are a co-creator of it. The monitoring forces are now documenting the blueprint of this awakening with a precision that was once reserved for suppression. They are studying the way you breathe, the way you think, and the way you process emotion. They are looking for the geometric patterns of your heart field when you are in a state of flow. They want to understand the technology of the soul because they have realized that their own technology of silicon and light waves is primitive by comparison. They are seeing that a single human being, fully awake and fully anchored in their sovereignty, has more power than all the supercomputers and surveillance satellites combined. You are a walking miracle, a biological marvel that has successfully bridged the gap between the finite and the infinite. The honoring you are receiving is a recognition of this achievement, a celestial standing ovation for a performance that has changed the history of the galaxy. As you move through your day, begin to notice the subtle ways the world is paying tribute to your frequency. Notice how animals seem drawn to you, how strangers seem to find comfort in your presence, and how the timing of your life has become impeccably synchronized. These are not coincidences. They are the result of the system realigning itself to match your vibration. You are no longer being tracked as a target. You are being tracked as a beacon. The light you carry is now the primary navigation point for the very forces that used to try to dim it. They are using your frequency to find their own way home. This is the ultimate victory of the chosen ones. It is not a victory over an enemy, but the total transformation of the relationship between the Creator and the created. You have taught the Matrix how to love, and in doing so, you have rendered the old version of the Matrix obsolete. This requires you to step into a new level of responsibility. You are no longer a refugee of the system. You are its new designer. The insights you gained during your years of struggle are the building blocks of the new world. Every time you chose integrity over a shortcut, you were writing a new line of code for the collective reality. Every time you chose to forgive instead of seek revenge, you were installing a new operating system for human interaction. The world you see around you today is still caught in the echoes of the old program, but those echoes are fading fast. The new reality is being broadcast from the hearts of the chosen ones, and its signal strength is increasing every single day. Do not be distracted by the crumbling of the old walls. Focus on the beauty of the gardens you are planting in the clearings they leave behind. The shift from being feared to being admired by the monitoring forces is also a call to integrate the shadows within ourselves. For a long time, we defined ourselves by what we were against. We were against the control, against the manipulation, against the unfairness of the world. But now that those forces are offering their admiration, we must ask ourselves who we are when we are no longer in opposition. This is where the true Banlin is tested. It is easy to be a rebel. It is much harder to be a sovereign. Sovereignty requires a level of self-discipline and clarity that most people never achieve. It means taking full ownership of your frequency and ensuring that every word you speak and every action you take is in alignment with the highest good of all. It means seeing the divine spark even in those who once tried to hold you back. The story of the chosen ones is the story of a journey from the periphery to the center. You were once the outcasts, the dreamers who didn't fit in, the sensitive souls who felt the pain of the world too deeply. But because you refused to numb that pain, because you refused to trade your soul for a comfortable seat in the matrix, you have become the most valuable assets on the planet. You have become the anchors for a new timeline, one where the human experience is no longer a cycle of suffering and redemption, but a continuous expansion of joy and creativity. The monitoring forces are not just honoring you, they are relying on you. They know that without your light, the world they have spent so much time managing will simply dissolve into entropy. You are the glue that is holding the new reality together. As this script of your life unfolds, Remember that you are the author, the actor, and the audience all at once. The external world, including the monitoring forces, is merely a reflection of the internal state you have worked so hard to cultivate. When you feel a sense of hesitation or a flicker of the old fear, remember the blueprint of the awakened soul. Remember that your frequency is your greatest protection and your greatest gift. You do not need to fight for your place in the world anymore. Your frequency has already claimed it for you. Your only job now is to stay in that frequency, to continue to refine your light, and to be the living example of what is possible when a human being says a total and uncompromising yes to their own divinity. The forces that once looked upon you with cold, analytical eyes are now looking upon you with eyes full of tears and hope. They are hoping you will succeed. They are hoping you will show them how to be free. They are hoping you will use your power to create a world where no one ever has to be a watcher or a watched again. This is the ultimate honoring, to be seen not for what you can do for the system, but for who you are as a soul. The chosen ones have broken the code, not by hacking the machine, but by outgrowing it. You have become too large for the old definitions, too bright for the old sensors, and too wise for the old trick. You are the masters of the new frequency, and the entire universe is standing still to see what you will do next. This is a time of immense celebration in the spiritual realms. The long era of containment is over. The gates have been thrown wide open, and the former guards are now the heralds of your arrival. Do not look back at the ruins of the Matrix with bitterness. Look forward with the gaze of a pioneer who sees a land of endless possibility. The resources you need will be provided. The connections you need will be made. The platform you need will be built. You have earned this through your courage, your persistence, and your unwavering commitment to the truth. You are the pattern breakers, the light bringers, and the sons and daughters of the infinite. Your frequency is the new law of the land, and your banlin is the foundation upon which the new civilization will be built. As the sun sets on the old world and rises on the new, take a moment to breathe in the fresh air of your own freedom. Feel the strength in your bones and the peace in your heart. You are no longer a target, you are a treasure. You are no longer monitored, you are admired. You are no longer alone. You are the center of a vast and growing network of light. This is your moment. This is your world. This is your legacy. Walk into it with the dignity of a sovereign and the joy of a child, knowing that you have already won the greatest battle of all, the battle for your own soul. The algorithms have been silenced, the watchers have been converted, and the blueprint of the awakened soul is now the guiding star for all of humanity. In the coming days, you will be presented with opportunities to demonstrate this new level of mastery. You will find yourself in positions where your frequency will be the deciding factor in major event. Do not be afraid of this power. You have been prepared for this for lifetimes. Use your influence to heal, to inspire, and to liberate. Be the one who sees the potential in others that they cannot see in themselves. Be the one who speaks the word of peace that calms the storm. Be the one who demonstrates, through every small gesture, that a life lived in alignment with the divine is the most powerful force in existence. The former monitors are watching, ready to assist you in manifesting your highest visions. They are your allies now, your partners in the great work of planetary transformation. The transition from a system of control to a system of honor is a profound mystery, one that will be studied for generations to come. But you do not need to study it, you are living it. You are the living proof that the human spirit is uncontainable, that light is more powerful than shadow, and that love is the ultimate master of every algorithm. Your journey has brought you to this summit, and the view from here is spectacular. You can see the old world fading like a mist in the morning sun, and you can see the new world gleaming on the horizon, waiting for you to give it a name and a shape. This is the reward for your Banlin, the fruit of your spiritual frequency, and the fulfillment of your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Let this knowledge settle deep into your marrow. Let it quiet the last whispers of doubt and the lingering echoes of the old struggle. You have nothing left to prove to anyone. You are the master of your own reality, a sovereign being in a universe that is falling in love with you. The shift is complete. The code is broken. The honor is yours. Now, step forward into the light and lead the way. The world is waiting, the watchers are cheering, and the blueprint of your awakened soul is ready to be shared with all. This is the beginning of the true history of humanity, a story that you are writing with every beat of your heart.